Today's set of notes is going to focus on the causes of environmental problems. So what's causing these problems? Today's set of notes is going to focus on the causes of environmental problems. So let's get into it. One quick thing to just review is our natural capital. So that natural capital being our natural resources plus our natural services. Our natural resources are just going to be exactly what you think they are. So things like fresh water, oil, those are a couple of examples. As where our natural services are going to be things that we actually use nature for. So one easy one is like going to a park or having some area that you can use. And you put those together and you get your natural capital. So like the sum total of the pool of resources that we can pull from. So in this video, we're going to look at 4 different causes: our population growth, poverty, inefficient resource use, and incomplete economics. So population growth is probably the easiest of this 4 to kind of understand what is going on. Our population's rising, and it has been for a very long time at this pretty exponential rate. Some of the causes for this population growth increasing are the fact that we've gotten really good at doing things. And a lot of that is thanks to technology and different sciences that we found. So one of them could be like technology that allows people to live longer or just have longer lifespans in general, or seeing an increase, or should I say a decrease, in things like infant mortality. So more people living longer, thus increasing that population. So that's cause number 1 for environmental problems. It's kind of us. The next is poverty. And one school of thought, and this is a pretty big one, is that it's the fact that it's a Maslow's hierarchy of needs thing, where if someone is poor, they can't take care of the needs that they need to. So those who don't know the Maslow's hierarchy, that'd be things like shelter, food, things of those nature. So they can't take care of those things. Therefore, they can't really take care of the environment. So it leads to that breakdown of the environment over time because they just don't have the proper resources, proper time, however you want to look at it, to make sure that they're not harming the environment with the things that they do. You can only work with what you have. However, another thing to look at is those who are usually in poverty tend to live in areas that already environmentally aren't great. It could be something like living in a city where there isn't a lot of environmental stuff there in the first place, or just living in a place that environmentally isn't very diverse. Whereas the wealthy can kind of export their environmental degradation, and what that means is essentially they're not going to do it where they're at, but it could be the fact that they're getting it from a place that is harming the environment in one form or the other. And that's something that we'll kind of look at as we continue on in this course. Our third one is our inefficient resource use. So for this, there's a low and a high throughput system. For a high throughput system, it just means that you're using resources at a higher rate. And usually these tend to be what they call virgin resources, or just resources that haven't been touched, that aren't refined, things like that. And when we do this, we're taking from the environment more than we put in. So it's a high throughput. Our low throughput, system is going to prioritize that efficient resource and energy use. So maybe something that would be better, but it depends on what we use. And when we look at like your ecological footprint, or with your ecological footprint, we'll talk about the overshoot day. And that's essentially how much of the ecological principle of the earth are we using as opposed to the interest. And then last but not least, we have incomplete economics. So with our modern economics, and this being in an ecology class, economics plays a big part in it. But with the way that we live now, it's more about minimizing or ignoring that natural capital. essentially because it's easier to not have to worry about that. And two things that lead to this are internal versus external costs, and we'll talk more about that in a upcoming set of notes, as well as full cost pricing. So two things that really deal with this incomplete economics of worrying about the bottom line price wise and not really what's going on ecologically. So more focus on the economics. And that concludes this set of notes.